Welcome to the studio. I'm Zoë Anderson, Design Director at Maxwell Fabrics and Telafina. In late 2021, I started a bit of a passion project in between working on our regular collections. I wanted to go back to my fine arts roots and create some hand-painted artwork that we could incorporate into the line. That idea has become a capsule print project that I'm calling Define. Define is a sample-only line that's a playground for large-scale, colorful, and original designs. This season, I'm showing 3 print designs. Join me for a sneak peek and a look at the process here in our Vancouver studio. My background is in studio arts, and in art school, my amazing drawing instructor really focused on the idea of mark making as being the origin of any work for drawing or painting. I wanted to revisit that concept and use it as inspiration to bring into these designs. I worked on several different designs at once, many iterations. I started with the mark making and used a few different mediums until I decided on the fluidity and shapes that are only possible with paint. With the pattern that eventually became Caldera, I was inspired by my first ever hike-in camping experience. 4 of us hiked 13 miles into the backcountry of British Columbia and set up camp facing a stunning glacier. I brought that image home with me in my head and wanted to create a mountain silhouette design. I started the concept for pattern Helen as an homage to the technique of the painter Helen Frankenthaler. I knew I wanted to do an offbeat take on a floral, and I also wanted to use a version of Helen's soak stain technique. Now, I was not painting on canvas, but rather on paper, but I took the inspiration to paint directly from the bottle to flood the rosette designs. Pattern Painterly is a nod to my time learning printmaking at art school. I started with this enormous loose brushwork that has a calligraphic feel. Then I cut the results into strips and reoriented everything. This broken effect and the resulting gaps in the motif remind me of the dozens of hours I spent in school trying to get the registration of my hand silkscreen prints seamless. Silkscreening is about doing 1 layer of color at a time and lining everything up perfectly, and I wanted to turn that concept on its head with this design. As I worked on finalizing the designs and laying out the scale and how everything would repeat, the next step was to find a supplier who had an incredible base cloth to work with that could be used for drapery, accessories, as well as light upholstery. Having cool artwork only takes you so far because textiles are ultimately about hand, drape, and tactility to produce a great finished piece, whether it's ripple fold drapery, pillows, or a bench. Once I'd settled on this gorgeous 50% linen, 50% cotton base cloth, our mill partner in the UK really encouraged using a rotary screen print method for these prints. It's a more costly process, but I was thrilled that they were keen to do this instead of printing digitally, because rotary gives this beautiful, sleek hand and body, and it feels almost hand-painted. Rotary also allows for detailed patterns to be laid out in faultless registration. The final step was taking the digitized versions of the artwork and deciding on the different colorways. Because I did quite a bit of painting right from the bottle or tube, I actually painted the original designs in a 3-color combo of raw sienna, burnt sienna, and carbon black. I knew we needed that combination in the final printed colorways for sure. From there, I worked with tones of sequoia, midnight navy, sulfur, satsuma, cardinal red, and smoky mauve, among other saturated hues. These are emotive colors designed to be a jumping off point for a scheme or a dose of whimsy. Of course, there are rich neutral combinations as well that let the patterns shine. The collection was edited to 15 colorways over these 3 designs, and we are also stocking the must-have base cloth in white and bone. In presenting the collection, I've paired each print with coordinating textures, solids, and small-scale patterns from the Maxwell line to show some of the possibilities. Thank you for joining me for a behind-the-scenes tour of the first Define collection.